Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're not just looking at numbers on a spreadsheet. We're going to use them to paint a picture, to turn a simple survey into a real human story about what it's like to be a student right now. So, let's dive right in. To try and answer this massive question, we're going to zoom in on one very specific group, 59 university students in Thailand. And what's amazing is how their experiences give us this fascinating window into the lives of modern learners pretty much everywhere. And this is our starting point, just 59. It's not some huge anonymous dataset. We're talking about 59 individuals, each with their own unique take on what being a student in this day and age really means.
Okay, so who are we looking at here? Well, for the most part, they're in their second and third years. That means they're not brand new to university life, but they're not quite at the finish line yet either. Nope, they are right in the thick of it.
And they come from all over the academic map. We've got future accountants, architects, artists, economists, the whole shebang. So we're not talking about just one type of student here. This is a really diverse cross-section of what a modern university looks like.
All right, our first section, Masters of Technology. This is supposed to be a generation that's totally fluent in the digital world, right? Let's see if the facts actually back that up.
And wow, yeah, the data definitely supports this. Look at this. Their skills with tools like Line and Zoom are basically universal. But what really jumps out to me is ChatGPT. Over 83% are already using it. They're not just adapting to new tech, they are way ahead of the curve.
And their digital toolkit is way more than just messaging apps. It runs the gamut from everyday stuff like Google Suite and Canva, all the way to professional-grade video editing software like Premiere Pro and Final Cut. It really shows they're not just using technology, they're becoming creators with it.
Get a load of this number. This really drives the point home. A whopping 86.4% of them can produce and edit their own short videos. They are, without a doubt, completely fluent in the language of modern media.
Which brings us to our next section, the online paradox. Because all of this incredible tech skill leads to something really unexpected, a major contradiction. They are fluent, yes, but they're also deeply frustrated.
It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? If you have a generation that can edit video and use AI, you'd think an online classroom would be a piece of cake for them. But what the data shows us is a completely different story.
And here it is, the core paradox in a nutshell. On one side, you've got this incredible digital fluency. They can handle pretty much any app or software you throw at them. But on the other side, when it comes to online learning, they are just digitally frustrated.
So why? What's going on? Well, the number one reason is something surprisingly basic and totally out of their hands, an unstable internet connection. Think about that. The very foundation they need for online learning is often shaky at best.
The next big hurdle is an internal one. They report a lack of focus. When you're at home, the classroom is in a constant war for your attention against every notification, every distraction, every other tab you could have open. It's a battle.
And this one is so important. They feel a real sense of disconnection. This quote here points to a lack of interaction with the instructor. The very technology that's supposed to connect them is actually creating a barrier, making them feel isolated from both their teachers and their friends.
And what's the end result of all this? Well, when we ask them how online learning has affected their ability to understand the course material, over half, more than half, of these students said the effect was negative. For this incredibly tech-savvy group, being online has actually made it harder for them to learn.
Okay, so that leads us to our third part, anxious minds, ambitious hearts. If their learning environment is so frustrating, what's really going on underneath it all? What are they worried about, and what are they hoping for?
So we asked them a very simple, very direct question. Right now, at this exact moment in your life, what is the one thing you worry about the most?
And the answer was just overwhelmingly clear. Their studies. Not their social life, not finding a job, not the future, but the immediate, intense pressure of exams, assignments, and grades. That is their number one source of anxiety. Now here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. Even though they're completely swamped by their required classes, these students chose to sign up for an extra, totally optional course. And they didn't do it for an easy grade. They did it for self-development, to explore new skills, and to learn something completely outside of their major.
One student put it just perfectly. They said they took the course because they want to develop their thought processes. See, they're not just trying to collect facts, they are genuinely hungry for skills that will change the very way they think.
And another student voiced this powerful desire to learn outside the classroom. This just shows a deep-seated ambition for knowledge that actually connects to the real world, knowledge that goes way beyond textbooks and lecture halls.
And all of this brings us to our final section, designing their future. This ambition shows that they're learning for so much more than just a grade. So, what's the end game? What is all this stress and all this extra effort really for?
It turns out their ambition unfolds in two really powerful stages. It all starts with a deep focus on personal growth, to develop their own potential, to understand themselves better, and just to get a better handle on life. But it doesn't stop there. It then extends outward with a real, genuine desire to share what they've learned, to help their families, and to be a positive force in society.
And this whole portrait of just 59 students leaves us with one last, really big question. We have a generation that is technically brilliant, but totally frustrated by online learning. A generation that's anxious about their grades, yet has these deep ambitions to grow and contribute. So the question is, are we building an education system that actually supports that ambition, or one that just helps them manage their assignments?